Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SourceForge podcast. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Bo Hamilton, senior editor and multimedia producer here at SourceForge, the world's most visited software comparison site where B2B software buyers compare and find business software solutions. Today, we're talking with Mark Durst, CEO of SalesNOW, a cloud-based CRM solution designed to help sales teams manage customer relationships, track leads, and monitor deals, all while on the go. It's really chock full of tools, including customizable sales stages. You have email integration and real-time reporting with, plenty of features to help enhance productivity for mobile professionals. So to talk more about all these different solutions, let me introduce Mark Durst. Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Good afternoon, Bo, and thank you so much for having me on. I'm really looking forward to it, so thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I have a bunch of questions to ask you about the CRM industry and how your company is positioned in it. But before we really delve into those queries, can you introduce yourself and give us your high-level overview of SalesNOW?
So I'm the president and CEO of SalesNOW. Founded the business over 20 years ago with my identical twin brother. So if you see another guy that looks like me, it may not be me. I started over 20 years ago. Originally, my career started as a CPA, and I worked for Ernst Young. I was one of the first computer auditors in the industry, auditing network systems and security and then banks and that type of thing. But I really wanted to get into business with my twin brother, and we both loved sales. So we said, our hockey careers were not looking good at the time, so let's go in and start a CRM business. So we started SalesNOW, which is a CRM solution. It's a CRM, like you said, has most of the features of all the big players, right? But one of the differentiators for us is what we call our gold glove service. And what we do is we try to roll up our sleeves. We have business analysts that analyze what the customer needs, make sure they take care of all the training and support, and use our expertise to kind of tailor the CRM around their business. And all of that typically is at a fraction of the price because we use in-house business analysts. You don't have to outsource it. And we're really excited about really tailoring our product around the customer's business needs.
Okay, that's funny. You have a twin brother, because I was looking at some of the photos and on LinkedIn and doing some research, and I was like, that looks like Mark, but I don't know if that's actually him or not. Something's a little off. And that's great. You have a lot of experience in the industry. The CPA experience is really interesting too, and just like working before kind of the boom of the internet, before it really just completely transformed everyday life. And then you got the cloud kind of movement and revolution there, and then you have, of course, the AI boom that's happening now. You've been through all the different phases, and that's really fascinating. What kind of inspired you to kind of like get on this particular venture and create SalesNOW?
Well, we both loved sales. We worked with large sales teams, and me coming from a technology background and a business background, we thought this was kind of the perfect industry. Kind of like what you said is we were a little ahead of the time because when we started, many of your listeners may know about the Lotus Notes technology and the IBM mainframe. So our original CRM solutions were, in-house, installed on mainframe computers, and we worked with the IT departments. And in early 2000s, the technology changed, and it allowed us to create a hosted solution with a mobile capability. And that was kind of the foundation of the start of SalesNOW. We also were one of the first really taking advantage of the new mobile piece, right? At that time, BlackBerry was big for many of you that used to know BlackBerries, right? And we were what was called the super app for BlackBerry, but it was all integrating with our CRM. And then obviously once there was a move from BlackBerry, now we're kind of a leader in both the Apple and Android mobile devices. So you can see what SalesNOW did is we kind of brought the big business CRM expertise to a hosted environment where most of our customers, many of them, don't have IT resources, not like they used to. So we kind of take over all of that capability for them.
Okay, yeah, because I imagine, you faced a number of challenges, but the one that kind of really comes to mind is just convincing businesses to transition from their traditional systems, way of doing things, to something, more new and like high tech, I guess, like more of a cloud
Right.
based software solution. Obviously, the cloud wasn't, you know, established when you were first founded, but has become a main pillar for your site. I know that change is pretty scary. At least in the short term, the cloud used to be kind of somewhat of a an ominous, scary concept when it was first kind of gaining prevalence, but now it's commonplace. What are some of the other bigger challenges that customers of yours face today, and how are you helping to kind of alleviate them?
I would say a majority, quite often for CRM customers, the sales reps are not using the system. And then you're saying, well, CRM is designed for sales reps. Why are they not using the system? It's for them, right? And I would say that's one of the key problems in the industry is the buy-in from not only sales reps, but other operational. And you kind of have to ask yourself, why is that? I mean, it's supposed to help them with their job, right? And I liken it to kind of the purchase process. So when a company goes out and says, listen, I want to buy a CRM. Oh, what features do you have? Oh, you got a great features. Okay, the CRM company says, well, here's the CRM package, right? And good luck with it. And then they kind of leave the company. So the company is like, well, what now? What do I do now? Well, as you know, most of these companies, they are in trouble for, they don't have time to implement and configure a CRM solution around it. So the company kind of says, well, what now? What do I do now? Well, some of them will hire an external consultant. Those are very expensive, right? Or some of them try to do it themselves. And depending on their time, they may do a good job, they may not. But at the end of the day, if the CRM system is not designed around the needs of the business and the sales rep is saying, well, why now? Why do I need to use it? It's not helping me, right? And I think that's a fundamental problem in the industry. And how Sales Now handles that is when we say, listen, we've got the CRM and we're going to deploy it, we have in-house business analysts with business and CRM experience to help them configure it around their business, right? Tie it to their business. And then once we do that configuration, we're also there to help train them and also there as the first line of support. So it's like we say, it's a gold glove service, but it's very important. It's not just buying a software like Microsoft Word. It needs to be a tool that's designed for your business. Maybe it's a big hammer, maybe it's a small hammer, but it has to wrap around your business to be effective.
I like that. It's a good explanation. Another like challenge that comes to mind, especially with in regards to you and your business, is just staying relevant in the competitive CRM market. I'd say your business has managed to do that quite well, just given your history of operations being around for over 20 years. But what would you say makes Sales Now stand out from the other solutions out there?
Well, quite often with some CRM solutions, it's, oh, which module would you like to buy? Oh, I want this one, and I want that one, or I want this one. And it's really, it puts it in an awkward situation for the customer. The customer's like, well, I want everything. Well, it's almost price prohibitive, right? So one different approach we take is we say, like, everything's included, right? Everything's included. So we then customize it around your needs. Now, because everything's included doesn't mean you need to use everything. In fact, you shouldn't use everything, right? So again, we like to consider ourselves like a one-stop shop where you get advanced features, mobile, workflow, advanced hierarchy, all included. They're not having to look over their shoulders. There's going to be another bill coming my way, right? But having great features is only as good as how you use it. And that's where having a professional business analyst that goes, okay, let me understand what business you're in. Oh, what's important in helping your sales? Well, some people forget, and as a CPA, it's not just your sales that you care about, it's your profit. What helps you get more profit, right? And oh, by the way, if you don't get that customer back again, well, what's your long-term sales forecast going to look like, right? what helps with your customer service. And each business is so different. So I really think that gold glove service of trying to tie it to their business is a key differentiator for us and is critical for any CRM deployment.
Yeah, yeah, having that flexibility is huge, and having all those modules, having everything included with the package. I mean, I can see that being pretty an enticing feature and component. But what, like you were saying, like every business, there's so many different types of businesses out there. What features in particular kind of make sales now flexible for all these different various types of businesses operating around the world? Can you kind of expand upon that some more?
Yeah, I would say for sales now, flexibility is our number one goal, right? So we we have customers that sell products. We have customers that sell oil or steel or bathtubs or trees, right? But we also have customers that service other businesses, mortgage companies, insurance companies, et cetera. So you can understand every one of these needs is quite different, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say um, do I need to use a products module? Well, maybe if I'm selling a thing, right, a physical thing, yeah, maybe I do. Well, how do I tailor that products module around your business, right? So it could be that you're integrated with the ERP system. Well, as a sales rep, what's useful for the sales rep? I'm going to do a quote for the customer. Do I have inventory, right? Well, I need real-time information. Do I have inventory? Back to profitability, I do a quote. Is it a profitable quote? What's the profit percent? Am I making money on the quote? What's a hassle for sales rep? Creating quotes, creating proposals, creating contracts, right? Is a system allowing that to be built in so that you're not, like as a sales rep, you want, as an owner, you want the sales rep selling. You don't want them spending all day creating one quote. And that's maybe easier than it sounds because you also have to cost it. And you also have maybe once you do the quote, it's a large quote, and for the company, it may be such that, oh, if you sell this quote below profit, the company's losing money. So what is the system to approve that quote through the management, right? So does it have workflow to support that? But if you don't sell products, in sales now, you don't need any of those features, right? So another example is the company grows. Well, marketing can become critical, right? And we all know sending out mass mail, it's a little more complex than you realize, right? So we also integrate directly with, a constant contact marketing integration, right? Which allows the marketing person to work inside the constant contact system, but allows the sales rep to update the contact's email and what they're interested in without creating conflicts. As the company grows, though, they have different needs. Like there's also an example of, well, do I need a mobile app, right? Well, so I have one customer where they sell actually lubricants to companies in Northern California. And you think, well, those customers, there's Wi-Fi everywhere. Well, surprisingly, I didn't know, but they go into areas where they're going to a shop and there's no Wi-Fi, right? So using our native mobile app, they can actually go in and they can enter a quote, right, and or a sale. And as soon as they come back into coverage, it sends the quote to their accounting team, and it sends the quote to confirmation to the customer, right? So that need is it's not for everyone, right? But when it is a need, it's obviously critical.
Yeah, yeah. Having the mobile app is huge. I'm a big mobile app guy. Just from the consumer standpoint, I used to make videos on YouTube about highlighting 10 of my favorite mobile apps each month. But so I get the appeal there. But that's pretty neat. Like kind of really enhancing the efficiency and just having the convenient features to be able to send data uh, to where it's supposed to go when you're in range of connection there. That's pretty neat. Now, businesses, of course, they're always in a constant state of flux. They're either growing or they're contracting due to, you name it, consumer preferences. I think of competitive pressures, different market trends. How does sales now support businesses as they scale and their sales force automation needs grow?
That's an excellent question. So one of the keys, because you can start with a company that's got 5 users, right? As they grow, let's say they grow to 500 or 1,000 users, the structures can be very complex. So for example, it may be North region, South region, West region, East region, but under those regions, you have sub levels as well, right? So what Sales Now has is what we call advanced hierarchy. And it supports all these complex hierarchies. Why do you need complex hierarchies? Well, let's say, for example, you've got the East region, and this quote of a certain size needs to be approved by the branch manager of the East, but also someone above them, right? So the hierarchy needs to take those kinds of things into account. Once you create an advanced hierarchy, what should work out of the box is, oh, I want my reports. Well, I want my reports for the East Division, the West Division. I want dashboards based on that, leaderboards based on that. So it's not just, Sales Now has the advanced hierarchy, but once you create that advanced hierarchy, out of the box, all the other functions start working, right? I had an interesting example a couple of days ago with one of my sales reps says, this customer, one of the sales reps of the customer said, we have a leaderboard. So it shows for their region, how are they doing compared to the other sales reps. And it's interesting. Not all companies go with that approach, but it can be very effective because that's a foundation accountability. And one thing I've learned about sales reps, and sales reps love commission, don't get me wrong, but how are they doing compared? They're competitive by nature, right? And this sales rep is like, oh, I'm in third place on this leaderboard, and I can't wait to get up to second and first. So having that already in there, by its nature, is actually creating a lot of motivation for the company, right? But the other thing is, as the company grows, integrating with their backend system becomes critical, right? Because maybe they got an ERP system that you need to integrate with. Why is that important? Well, then again, I can get online inventory information. But another example is I get the sales information brought down to the system. As a sales rep, you're a sales manager. You say, listen, sales rep, go do your job. Well, what is my job? All right, well, let's go visit customers. So I go visit the customer. Right? If I don't know what I'm going to talk about, it's kind of like, great, I talked and we're done. What should the sales rep do? The sales rep should have, I pull up the company and I say, listen, these are the 20 products they bought. By the way, these products have increased in sales versus last quarter. These ones have decreased in sales. This is an improvement. So as a sales rep, I come into the sales meeting prepared, right? Where I can actually talk to the customer and say, listen, I know you're up on this. That's awesome. And is there anything else we can improve on? And you're down on this. What's the reasoning? And then then you can see that the sales call. So the system should help the sales rep do their job, and that is part of that as well.
Yeah, yeah, having that valuable feedback is really important. Do you see what are some of the automations in this area that you're watching? Like I think of like AI chatbots or just customer service agents, but what are you keeping an eye on?
Well, if you can almost say what has automation improved in the CRM experience, right? And I would say one of the number one things is to make things a lot more efficient and time saving, right? So you do have the AI. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but even foundational things like, again, let's take a more complex sales situation. I have to do a quote. I need it approved. I win the quote. Now I need to go to accounting, make sure the customer gets credit approved. I need to go to legal to make sure the terms is good. I need to go to engineering, right? So really where we see in the sales now, we have the ability of creating custom actions that kind of take that AI kind of concept and tailor it to the business. So they don't, basically we're trying to not say the sales rep doesn't have to think about it, but it takes them through the steps. And listen, oh, I'm in accounting, and it sends to accounting, you're up next. And the other concept is it can do it in a parallel, right? Because in the old-fashioned way, you go to the accounting, then you go to this, and you're waiting. It's a long process. But with automation, you can do it in parallel. I think AI is going to continue to help with that. We have AI on our reports and on this kind of activity. But my caution to people on AI, and I'm sure everyone's heard those stories where, I had a legal case and I told the judge for using AI what the answer was, and it was a fake case, right? So another example would be business intelligence. SalesNow does have a business intelligence reporting engine. And you could say, well, make that available to the sales rep. It's easy, right? But if you don't have experience in it, you may be thinking you're doing a report of what our forecast is, but it's not laid it out properly, and the answers look like something, but they're not correct. So I think at the end of the day, AI is going to continue to be huge, but I still think the company needs to kind of control it and put it in a box so it does what they need for their business, right? AI may say, how do we maximize the sales? But the company goes, yeah, I don't really want to maximize sales. I want to maximize profit. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you feed AI with what's going to be important in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's exciting to watch what kind of how this shakes out and all the different ramifications of AI. Right. I think that we're definitely entering the year of efficiency or the era of efficiency with all these different automations. It kind of going back to what you were saying about kind of the AI improvements or the automations you're adopting. It kind of just makes me think of maybe like the smart home ecosystem and how you can set up on an app or your computer or wherever you can set up routines so that like if you walk into your home at a certain time, like the lights will kick on, your security system will disengage or something. It's not taking your job necessarily like replacing your particular job so much as it is just making things a lot more convenient and efficient so you don't have to do as many steps, right?
Well, not only that, most sales managers go, listen, I don't want you on this. If I can have you on the system for 20 minutes a week, great, because I want you in front of the customer selling, right? So even a sales rep knows that they don't want to be spending time on operational stuff. So if the system helps with the operational stuff and makes their job easier to do a quote, to understand about to do a sales call and prepared for it, that allows the sales rep to make more commission, and sales reps love that. So, in that sense, it's extremely valuable for them.
Do you find that there are any of these automations that you've maybe played with or you see competitors integrating? Do you find any of them maybe negatively impacting your customers?
I think an over reliance on automation where you don't know what it's giving you may be trouble. So, of course, you can use AI to get a response to your customer, right? So, I'm a sales rep. Let's use AI. The customer's asked this, and I respond using AI. You can use AI to help you with your response, but as soon as you use AI to do your response, you've lost your personal touch. In sales, it's all about the relationship with the customer. Knowing that you're going to Iceland next week, or you're going here, or you're going there, and knowing about your family and knowing about your business, and the customer knowing you care about them, that's important. So my my point to people is, yeah, use AI to help you analyze things, but don't lose the personal touch, and make sure to give the personal touch back to the customer, because the relationship is what sells, and of course your product and your support does. But given all things equal, your relationship is what's going to make you successful.
Yeah, I like that because I usually so much attribute like the arts as like something an area where I think people are really going to appreciate having it human made, human created, sourced by humans. Just with the trend of everything being replaced by AI, seems like there's gonna be a reliance on anything that's made by humans. But like I think the sales aspect too is something that I haven't really considered, and I think you make a great point. You want to have that relationship, and you want to have a contact too, a human contact to go to, ask for questions, and kind of nurture, right?
Even on support as well, right? I And that's where SalesNow is quite good. We actually do phone support with our customers. I had an issue with one of our vendors, and I had difficulty getting a hold of them to talk to them. And that frustration for me was crazy. And they don't publish their phone number, They don't let you talk to them. And it's like, once you do talk to them, it's great. So automation can remove some of that personal connection. The Zoom and other, Google Meet and that, those are great. And I just encourage people not to lose the personal touch. And on their support of their products, make sure they got the personal touch, because if a customer has a situation that they need, so what are the needs of a customer? I'm trying to get an order out. I'm trying to close a deal, right? So you as the CRM, you're like, oh, it's just a customer phoning. No, to the customer, it's a big deal. It represents an important revenue stream for the company. It's helping their customers achieve. So there could be a situation where they need quick response, and having support that you can get a hold of and talk to someone is critical for your relationship with your CRM and for your relationship with your customer as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, kind of going back to, you mentioned the Iceland. I was trying to get a hold of Icelandic Air, and I was just put on hold, just talking to automated response after automated response, and they're saying I'm, in like 43rd in the queue before I can talk to somebody, and it's just frustrating. And then you also have, it seems like every website's kind of adopting the chat bots nowadays, where they try to be helpful, but and for simple queries they are, but a lot of times people use the chat services to ideally talk to a human representative for a more complex question, and then it's just frustrating at that point, because you're trying to like do any sort of hack to get transferred to a person, either pressing zero a bunch of times or yeah, it's frustrating, but yeah, it's interesting. I appreciate your insights on and the sentiments around this. Now, my next question is kind of a fun question to ask, and will make for a great short clip for those listeners who maybe aren't listening to the full interview here, don't have all the context. But if you are, bonus points for you. My question is, if you had the opportunity to tell potential customers one big thing, as if you're maybe shouting it from the rooftop, or if prospects only knew this, what would that one big thing be?
I'd say for CRM, it's more complex than you think, right? So uh, again, I like using Microsoft Word as an example, right? I use Microsoft Word and I use 2%, maybe 1% of the functionality, right? Or Microsoft Excel is a good example, right? So, but if you are needing to know how to do pivot tables, and that's critical to your job, right? Then you need to understand that, right? And but if what you need the CRM company to do, because quite often is you're buying a CRM and the company says, "What do you need?" And the guy goes, "I don't know," right? So that's not a good question. The question is, tell me about your business. Tell me how you make money. Tell me about your products, your customers, et cetera, et cetera. And like a doctor, I'm diagnosing what CRM you need, and then I try to wrap it around. So it's more complex than you think, but it doesn't have to be if someone properly asks the questions and designs it around your needs. I may add one more to this, which is the customer has to also take responsibility. Okay, so I'm about to deploy a CRM solution, and now we've configured it around your business. It looks great, but I really believe the customer has to appoint someone for CRM that is accountable and invest the time in having beta users test it, and an accountability where, hey, beta users, you have to sign off on it, right? Oh, well, I got to make sure this works, right? So having the accountability, having a single point of contact as the customer relating to the CRM, I'd say that would be a critical thing that I'd love to shout from the rooftop. Because what happens if they don't go through that? You launch it and it does not work. And then number one, it makes you look bad as a CRM company, it makes the company, the managers look bad, because how did you miss that? Well, the manager is just one person. Like solve this as a team, bring a beta group and have discussion and make sure it's signed off, and have involvement by both the CRM company and the customer on any major launch or initiative.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, don't underestimate the complexity. Be prepared. Don't take shortcuts, and just study up on everything so you're prepared. Yeah, that's good. Well, I want to pivot also to talk and ask you some questions to kind of get your unique perspective based on your experience running sales now over the last couple decades, as well as maybe your CPA experience as well. So getting a little bit more personal now, like reflecting on all these different experiences you've had over the years, running a business, working in the CRM space. What, with that in mind, if you could go back to the start of your career, what's one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
I'd say it's a one we've all heard. Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? So um, an editor, like a film editor, right? What they do is they take the company gives them 6 hours of film and says, turn this into a 1.5 hour movie, right? And we all know how hard that editor job is, right? So similarly in CRM, you want it to be a simple process for the sales rep or for the operations team, et cetera. To do that, you have to remove stuff that's not necessary, right? So this company may have a million features, but we only use 300 or 200 or 50, right? So try to keep it simple. Remove stuff that they don't know or they don't need, and less is more, right? Because at the end of the day, you want the sales rep and the operations to run through the sales process, do it quickly, do it efficiently, automate things, right? For example, a sales pipeline, in some of the old days, oh, the sales rep, some sales reps are very optimistic, some are more conservative, right? The same opportunity, I may say I'm 90% close to selling, and the other one says I'm 20%. You can automate that based on using AI, saying use based on all the functionality. The system says where you are in the deal, right? So again, I think trying to keep it simple, and it's an effort for the CRM company and the customer. Do you need this? Is that, or are people using this? If so, let's remove it. Let's not even show it and keep it simple. Less is definitely more.
I like it. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid, and less is more. That's something you can apply to almost every facet of life, right? Now, you have my last kind of BD question for you is, with your 25 years of experience in sales now and the customer relationship management industry, what's maybe a common misconception about the industry that you'd like to debunk?
Yeah, I'd say a common misconception is you get the CRM and you're going to be successful, right? So it doesn't work that way. It takes work. You need to slow it down, and you need to put the effort, not only the CRM company, but the customer needs to put in the effort to define what the sales process are. And when you go and clean out your garage, right, it's so great. I'm throwing away stuff. I'm throwing away stuff I don't need, right? When you are going to a new CRM system, that's a good time to clean out the garage, right? Oh, we always do it this way. Do you need to do it that way, right? Oh, we do our quotes using an Excel spreadsheet. Well, do you need to do it that way? Can we build that into the system? Oh, when we go into a sales call, I don't have any of the sales information of the customer. Well, let's give you the sales information, right? So again, having it wrapped around your business, how do you do that? Well, the company's got to ask questions. They got to be probing you, and then the two of you are a team creating the system that's perfect for both of you. Number one. Number two is it changes, right? Like you said, company could grow or it could drop, right? It could change different way. It could go into different industries. And also having the company be your partner through the whole process. So, maybe it's a quarterly review and we say, listen, how's things? What's changing? Are you going into a different service? Do we need a different approach on that? I think that's really foundational for long-term success. I have customers of ours, and it's great, where they say, you're my partner. Like we're in this together and we're helping them create sales. And that's the relationship you want. You want to be their partner and they're our partner, right? So together we're creating the CRM. It's not just a software that does things. It's the whole package of how it's wrapped around their business.
I love that. I think that's a excellent way to end this interview on that with all those insights. And maybe that's probably going to go inspire me to go organize my garage because that's something I'm putting off. Now, really quick, where can listeners find out more about Sales Now and get in touch with you and your team?
Yeah, so our website is www.salesnow.com, and you can also email sales@salesnow.com. And again, we are old fashioned. Once you email us, we're going to actually call you and talk to you, and then maybe set up a free trial and see if there's a good fit for you. But we'd love to help you make your sales happen, and that's really the key.
Awesome. You get that human touch there. I love that. All right, salesnow.com. Well, hey, I appreciate. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with us about Sales Now. Appreciate it, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Bo, and good luck on the garage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you all for listening to the SourceForge podcast. I'm your host, Bo Hamilton. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our upcoming B2B software related podcasts. I will talk to you in the next one.